Okay, so this is Xi'an's History of Rock Part 5, Hard Rock. So just to recap, you got African slaves developing labour songs and then eventually getting hold of instruments as their rights and culture improved and expanded, and then from that, finding European classical music and keys, created the fusion of blues and that, and classical music became jazz, and then from that swing, and then rock and roll and surf music, probably where you first heard the purposefully distorted guitars and fuzzing and like lead guitar fuzzing and all these different deviations of blues, and then punk rock. The punk rock, I think, happened after hard rock, purely because it's kind of, the songs are shorter, that whole style is kind of punchy and more poppy, it lends itself better to the commercial world, whereas hard rock is, longer, fatter, heavier songs. But so hard rock is basically, it's just heavy blues, it's just blues riffs played with drums, with a bit of aggression and, well, maybe a lot of aggression and distortion, and no doubt that was happening before punk rock, but it took longer to reach the commercial world. Once again, with hard rock, you get British, London, a lot of London musicians being influenced massively by US music and developing a kind of a movement or a scene or a style. In this case, there were, I think, two of the most important pioneers, Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix. Eric Clapton had his hand in many pies. He did pop. He was in the Yardbirds briefly, and so he'd been around for many years, and he was like known for being like a hardline blues fan, and it always brought it back down to like original blues, and so it made sense that playing so much blues, he kind of helped develop this new style, or at least commercialize this new style. And the band he founded, Cream, released their first record in '66. Wheels of Fire and other records by them. They're definitely songs where you can kind of hang your hat on early, some amongst the earliest hard rock songs. Although they weren't like totally hard rock, like they did a lot of pop and psychedelic and stuff. So they weren't. So the scene wasn't totally clear. Still a lot of experimentation going on. Jimi Hendrix would have been around the scene. Although he was from the US and toured extensively, he was a jazz musician, so his technical proficiency was, along with Eric Clapton, probably definitely two of the most important guitarists in rock. He also worked in London, and his band, he just had a bassist and a drummer, very, simplified, minimalistic style, because his sound was so big and so, but early songs like Purple Haze, you can just really hear the inception, like the hard rock inception, because this is the wild, dirty, wild, heavy sounds happening, kind of chugs and noises and lots of atonal stuff. So massively, maybe even heavier. Moments on his first album, so it's '67, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. You could even say that it's like heavier than, maybe even heavier than Cream, or anyway. So yeah, so I'd say that those two cats were massively responsible for hard rock. Then after that, I suppose you got to give Rolling Stones some credit for just keeping it going. They were so broad, Rolling Stones pop songs, and songs with like violins and psychedelic songs and prog and punk rock, hard rock. You know, they did rock and roll. They did everything, and you know, they really, like, maybe just the right across the board archetypal rock band, Rolling Stones, and they really helped to just hit it home all through the second half of the 60s. Songs like Satisfaction, bam, 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 bam. And then, yeah, I think Deep Purple, though, were the first through and through hard rock band. They knew what they were, they didn't deviate. That was when the moment, you know, when the scene was born, possibly, because before there was a lot of experimentation, and now there was something. It was something. It solidified. Deep Purple, yeah, massively important in hard rock, and then in metal. Led Zeppelin, then, first record, 69, released a level of production, though, they had with their early records that Deep Purple probably never reached. They really had good control over production, and it sounds so modern. You know, Led Zeppelin stands up against any hard rock band in history, even after 40 years more production, technical development. You know, Led Zeppelin sound, and they really kind of helped encourage this like fat hard rock sound. You know, fat drums, fat distorted guitars, and then yeah, that was it.